Hello YouTube, today I would like to show you how to remove a transmission. This probably is going to be part 1, part 2 type of video. I don't think I'll be able to do everything in one day. This is my first time doing it. I do have a slight idea in how to do it. So let's get to it. Hello guys, I am back. I wanted to do this step by step, so I'm going to do the best way I can. This is a pretty dirty job. This is not like changing a drive shaft where you could just take your gloves off and resume filming. But anyways, I'm gonna do the best I can to guide you guys through your own do-it-yourself transmission change or removal. Currently I am removing, so I'll actually use this transmission in my other Sprinter. So I'll need to remove it twice and one installation. So what we're looking here is a valve body. This is the hydraulic part of the transmission. It pumps all your oil through there, and then there's solenoids on top of that, and your conductor plate. It's basically underneath. The reason I'm doing it this way, because I could not get the bolt loose that's on the transmission oil pan. Somebody must have tightened it with an air wrench or something, so without stripping a socket, I could not remove it. So I ended up leaving the bolt on there. Even though I tried different methods, I will be able to actually pull it off, but when you're over here underneath, you know, and you strip the threads, there's only so much you could do. So what I ended up doing is just remove the pan on this side first. This is the driver's side. I've removed, well actually no, I left these bolts on, and I removed the bolts on the opposite end, and I just slightly held it with my hand, and of course these bolts were holding it, and I let oil slowly drip out of there into this oil bucket. That seemed to work pretty well. I went ahead and let it all drain down there and remove the filter. So I could not actually drain the oil out of the torque converter. I know how to do it, but this engine is locked up. It's either bent valves or it could be something else, much worse, but basically it doesn't spin in the front. So the oil will remain in the torque converter as much as I would like to drain it out, but it doesn't really matter. It's just going to make it heavier. To make things lighter for me, I'm going to go ahead and remove this valve body and everything there. It's not a heavy piece, but it's got some weight to it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the oil pan back with those bolts. That way I could use it, I could use a transmission jack to actually hold it in place without damaging anything over here in the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. Now for the next portion, what I wanted to show you is I removed already several things. One of the pieces I removed is the shifting thing that's over here. This piece, it's not tricky to remove, but it seems harder than it really is. I will show you how to remove it on a different Sprinter, because on this one the piece was broken and it was held together with this is the shifting part, by the way, right there. There was a plastic piece that was on the end there that basically snapped into this round piece, but it was broken, and I had these this wire that was used, and now I'm just using to hold this out of my way. So that was that. On my next Sprinter, that piece is not broken, so I could actually show you how to remove it and how to install it. And the second portion of this video, or maybe on this one, depending on how long this is going to be, because this is not a simple do-it-yourself job, but if you've done it once, or if you could at least see somebody do it like me, you'll be able to get a good idea on how to do it. Alright, I don't want to get myself dirty, but this is a piece that was on the end there. I cannot really bend it in place right now because I actually bent it out of the way. A bolt goes through there and it holds that in place right there. It's a number 19 millimeter to remove it. Goes right in the end there. This is where all the oil is pumping through. Okay, and over here I would like to show you on the other side of the transmission there's the other bolt. It was in the transmission in this portion right here. So that's also number 19. I removed that. Now you're looking at this piece. This is on the passenger side of the transmission. That is called a 13-pin connector. I will be removing that. Before you remove the valve body, this piece right here, you must remove the 13-pin connector. That takes a 7mm type of bolt. It's not a very big bolt, it's just a very small bolt, but if you don't remove it, you're gonna break the valve body. Well, you're not gonna break the valve body, but you'll break the conductor plate because it's not gonna separate. Next, what I'm removing is this fill tube. I already removed one of these bolts. This is a 8mm bolt. The next bolt down is being held over there. You cannot see the bolt really well. Well, actually you can, but I can't. This is number 11, which is the same for all the transmissions, one of those bolts that's holding the transmission down. It's number 11. I'm not sure yet how I'm gonna remove those, whether I'm gonna use an air wrench to remove it or I'm gonna do it by hand. That I'll be doing tomorrow. So what I'm doing next is, of course, removing the 13-pin connector and removing the valve body. And that is it for now. Alright, the valve body is out. And what I have for you here is 13-pin connector. That's right here. You could see there is the 7mm bolt that's inside. It's very small. And once you remove it, once you remove the bolt is not removable, but once you get it loose and you know it's loose and you're trying to pull this out and it's not coming out for you, just take a screwdriver, just pry it a little bit and it's going to be able to come out. There's space for you to do that. Now here's the valve body. I went ahead and put it inside of the oil pan, transmission oil pan that I removed. And actually some of the fluids actually made it in there from the valve body because it's still draining. Okay, so what we're looking here is I went ahead and put the bolts in. This is exactly how you would be looking at it if you would be underneath the transmission, but here is 4 bolts on this side. You don't have to remove that one, and you got 5 bolts over here along this side. So once you remove those, the valve body will drop down. Just before you do though, make sure the 13-pin connector is out, and I'm going to show you why. I went ahead and flipped this valve body upside down. We have the 13-pin connector hole here, and there's the 13-pin connector. And this of course is the conductor plate that you're looking at. It actually is the cause of many problems. What you're looking here is these magnets. If they're dirty, if they get dirty on you, I guess from not changing your oil when you should and stuff, or it's just being old with metal shavings and stuff, they're gonna get in here because this is magnets. Once it gets dirty, your transmission cannot tell what gear you're in, and it's not gonna start shifting for you, and then it's gonna put you in limp mode, and you'll be able to only drive at about 30 miles per hour. It's not going to shift. It's going to be between first and second gear. I've seen it both ways. Usually they say it's second gear, but I've seen it where it's in first gear or second. Doesn't matter. You'll be in limp mode. You cannot do nothing. If you're going to try to reset the check engine light with the regular check engine light resetter, it's not going to really work. So you'll need to use like a better computer, like a Snap-on or like one of those other like a big screen on and stuff, so you could actually reset the transmission code. Then you might be able to actually drive. But when this happened to me, I was 650 miles away from home, and I asked the guys at the transmission shop to reset my code, and they did, and it started shifting for me. But I could tell it's like it was really like late shifting and really weird type of shifting. So I got on the highway. I fueled up before I went, and I got on the highway and I drove 650 miles back home, so I could actually fix this problem, because I don't have the parts with me and I wasn't really sure if I knew what I was doing. So anyways, usually if this happens to you and you're an expediter, just go ahead and buy yourself a new piece. This piece costs between 140 and 150 bucks, and it's gonna solve a lot of your problems. It does not come with these solenoids, and there's solenoids underneath this cover here. This is kind of interesting. I've never seen a cover on the solenoids. The other transmission that I've been taking apart did not have the cover, so this one does. So it probably just pops off, or maybe it just came with a Sprinter original or something. But anyways, there's that. Tomorrow I'm gonna continue trying to remove the transmission. This will probably be the part 1 to the video. I don't want to make it too long, but I do want to make it insightful to where if somebody is doing this for the first time, they're gonna know exactly what they're running into. And this is not difficult to do if you got the time, if you got the tools, and if you're willing to do it, you could do it. But yes, as I was saying about the 13-pin connector, it goes in here like this, and then of course the little 7mm bolt would hold it in place. And of course you gotta understand, over here you'll have the body of the transmission is it's in the way here, so the 13-pin connector would be right through the transmission and inside this conductor plate here, and it's holding it in place. So if you forgot to remove the 13-pin connector and you're removing the valve body, basically valve body is going to get loose, and then it's going to be pulling on this, causing most likely this plastics to break, possibly some metal stuff. And you don't want to do that, because then you'll probably not having to spend another 150 bucks for a new part. So don't forget it. That's really important. So stay tuned for my next video on the part 2 of this transmission job. Please like if you like the video, and subscribe for more if you'd like to see more of this kind of stuff. I know how to do a lot of stuff on the Sprinter. That transmission is something I recently, well, I'm not really recently, for a couple of years now, I've been actually in and out of it, so I know a little bit about it. I'm not really technical, but I could actually tell you exactly all the details, what you need to be doing so you'll do it right. Because at the shop they'll charge you arm and a leg for this. A little story: the shop that actually resetted my transmission light, what they told me, it's gonna cost me $3,700 to get my transmission out of the limp mode and into running condition like it is. They were really bullshitting me, excuse my language, but what they said is, oh, it's gonna be really major, you're gonna need to replace a speed sensor, and that's gonna cost you $450, and then, oh, you're gonna probably need to replace the conductor plate, and the conductor plate is gonna cost you like another $800. Well, just to pause myself right there, this is the conductor plate, this is the speed sensor. It's one piece. You cannot separate this piece unless you know what you're doing, and you for some reason decided to just cut those metal pieces to weld them back or something. But no, this is not coming off. This is together. I mean, it shakes a little bit because of the metal connectors, but that's it. This is not two pieces. This is one piece. And they were trying to tell me it was going to be like so expensive, and then they told me I would need to buy some kind of like long wire, and they called it some other stuff, and they showed me some pictures. It was really weird. There is no such thing. So I think they were trying to maybe replace my shifter cord. Possibly that's the only thing I could think of. And they said, yeah, that was going to be expensive. And then, oh yeah, they wanted to replace the valve body. They wanted to replace torque converter. And that's it. And it was going to be 3,700 bucks. So it was parts and label. And I said, are you going to replace the oil? They're like, no, we're just going to put original oil back in it. We could change it for an extra price. So I'm thinking, okay, so you're going to do the transmission job and not even replace the oil. So that's really weird. So yeah, they just try to take the, throw the parts at your transmission at your cost. So you're going to end up paying all their mortgages and stuff on their vehicles, cars, shop, whatnot. And that's just way too expensive. Most of us are not willing to really part with that much money. So it was just $150 part, not $3,700 job. So when I replace this part right here, this conductor plate, it solved all my issues. I got a Sprinter with 1,048,000 miles on it right now. It still runs. So right now it's just starting to slip a little bit. It's not really noticeable. So I'm just gonna go ahead and replace the transmission. This one only has 430,000 miles on it. I'm gonna clean it up really good and put it in, and I think it's gonna last me a long time. And that other transmission, I'll end up rebuilding it, which I'll make actually a video how to replace the clutches and bearings in the transmission and stuff like that. That's going to be upcoming. And of course I'm going to have some upcoming videos on how to replace your fuel injectors, glow plugs, all these things that actually cause problems for your Sprinter not to start, including high pressure fuel pump. That's another one. It could cost you a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing, but if you do, it could be simple as tightening 4 bolts and it's gonna solve your issue. I'm serious, literally. Tightening 4 bolts on the high pressure fuel pump that cost at the dealer, I believe it was like $1,900 for a rebuilt one or remanufactured from Mercedes. Online it's probably gonna be like, I don't know, somewhere $700 to like $1,000, plus they'll want your core, which they might want to charge you like another 500 bucks for your core if you don't send them your core back. But this is kind of like knowledge is power type of thing. If you know what you're doing, you're gonna have some, well, you could save some money by knowing what you're doing. So and not really spend unnecessary money for parts if you don't have to. But anyways, please subscribe to my videos. I'd like to do more. I'm gonna do more whether you subscribe or not. So if you're a Sprinter owner, I think it's gonna be, I don't know, informal or something, because I've been driving since 2007 and everything on my Sprinter I fixed myself. This is why it has 1,048,000 miles on it. Well, thank you for watching this video. Have a good one. Bye bye.